Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, all you beautiful people. How are you feeling out there? How you feeling out there? If you're like everyone else that I've talked to, clients, community, friends, going through big times, big tests, as I talked about before, we're being tested. And more than being tested, we're being asked, do you get it? Are you getting the lesson? Some common themes that I've been hearing about this week and working with this week, I'll go into. But overall, we're going to be talking about this Grand Cross full moon in Leo on the heart of the lion. This is on the star Regalis. So it's a very important full moon because it creates a grand cross with the nodes of the moon. Jeremy, you've been learning about the nodes of the moon. So that grand cross energy creates a square to the nodes of the moon, the north and the south node. What this means is that even though this isn't an eclipse, you might be feeling a little bit of that eclipsey energy. We are at the midway point. We might be beyond it. I should know this before I started this video. Hi. If you're just joining. But basically, the eclipses, I have my planner. So if you don't already have your planner, you can get the digital version on my website. But basically, let's see when exactly the eclipses are so that I'm not giving the wrong information. So we have the eclipses in May, but I need to know exactly. Okay, so April 30th actually and May 15th. So we are at the halfway point between this last eclipse in December, moving closer to these eclipses that will be coming in hot in Scorpio, total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. That's going to be intense. So a lot of people ask me like, okay, do we make it through the intensity? It's like, that's not really what life's about, right? It's about, are we gaining lessons and growing from these experiences? So this full moon is going to feel eclipsy. If you aren't feeling that, that's okay. But I'm gonna guess that you're feeling some big clearings wanting to come through, a lot of energy coming online. And if we're not making space for that new energy, I talked about this in my last video, then we're not making space to up level. And one of the ways in which I'm hearing client again and again talk about is that there's this old energy. This is all the Capricorn energy that we're burning off. So we still have Pluto moving through there, and I'm going to talk about Pluto in a minute. But then we have Venus and Mars in a conjunction for this full moon, and that's intense. And Venus has just gone through her retrograde, so Mars is coming in and activating us in those areas, like testing us. Are you going to move forward with this, or are you going to go backwards? Are you going to bring in, oh my gosh, I'm just seeing a new, I'm seeing a new thing pop up here that I could show you a chart at some point. That's going to be a new feature that maybe I'll be able to use. Okay, so Mars is asking us like, are you going to act on this, or are you going to just try to go back and stay in this old patterning, right? And this is very much Pluto unearthing the uncomfortable material for us to transcend, for us to empower ourselves. And now we're being confronted with all the places where we're like, oh, this is why I wasn't empowered before. This is why it's scary to step into this, right? So it's a powerful time. And one of the themes that I'm hearing again and again is this old energy clearing off the planet right now around not just women, but I would say intuitives or empathic people understanding that they aren't crazy. You're not crazy. You're just intuitive. You're not crazy. You just have an understanding of the energetics. And there's a lot of old energy wanting to pull people that are trying to transcend that back into being gaslit, into feeling crazy. I wrote down, I don't know if I have it right here, because I just write everywhere. Oh, I did. So instead of going back into old patterning around being passive, kind of silencing yourself and feeling like you're doing something wrong or there's something inherently wrong with you, this is the time period to understand that you're being asked to step up in a big way and move beyond all that old victim energy, all that old persecution energy, and really stand in your truth and set up some boundaries, set up some guidelines for how you want to do life now, from now on out, right? Instead of being pulled into back like, I'm afraid. Fear is all the old energy, right? And so that's what's being cleared out right now. But it's not a comfortable process. You need support. And that's what I'm here for. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, I'm here to support you in this new vision of yourself and stepping up and into it now. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. So if that interests you, I'm here for one-on-one coaching. I'm also hosting a magnificent program next month called Feminine Leadership, where we go into the astrology and the archetypes for you in your chart, how to empower yourself and heal a lot of the stuff that's keeping you from stepping into this personal power in a bigger way. So that's all happening. And someone who's been very active in all this that we go into in feminine leadership, but in typical astrology, we don't talk a lot about. And it's crazy that we don't talk a lot about her because we give Pluto a lot of our attention, but the counterpart to Pluto is Ceres, Demeter. Ceres in the chart is so important to understand where your Ceres is, and this is something that we dive deep into in feminine leadership. But right now, she's in an exact trine to Mercury. Mercury is conjunct Pluto. So Pluto's the counterpart to Ceres. And so Mercury, our processing mind, is going to the underworld, like clearing out all the old junk DNA, junk patterning that has kept us in the underworld, kept us in the dark, kept us from shining, kept us from being in the light. And as Mercury then moves beyond that this weekend and up into this full moon, it's going to make an exact trine to Ceres. And Ceres is about the strength and the fortitude and the abundance to be able to keep sowing your seed, keep putting your work out there, keep being in the energy of abundance, even when you're being shown loss, even when you're being shown disruption, even when you're being shown discordant energy, because that counterpart to Pluto is having to deal with being in the light, being on planet Earth, when all of these dark underworldy energies are trying to clear off, but they're up in your face, okay? So that's intense. We are in intense times. And one of the things about hi, if you're just joining. One of the things about Mercury being conjunct Pluto right now is that we can't hide from ourselves and we can't hide from what's really, truly, and honestly coming up within us, but we try to. Many times we try to. And at this time on this planet, we're really being asked to stop shoving that down and stop setting that aside and really act on what we know to be true. So this is also Mars and Venus conjunct. Are our actions aligned with our desires? Are our desires aligned with what we truly want at the end of the day? Are we just acting on our animal instincts or our animal desires? When in reality, if we act on something right now, is that setting us up to move us closer to what we ultimately want? Or is it setting us up to move further away from what we ultimately want? And this is the work. This is it right now. Right here, right now is like we often put things off, or in our mind, they don't seem like they connect to the choices that we make in the here and now. Like, oh, I'm just going to do this, but tomorrow I'll make a better choice, right? So we're being asked to align ourselves with that. And all this Capricorn energy is very restrictive, is very hardworking, but ultimately it's helping us to not put things off for another day. It's helping us to really be in alignment with those things. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is as the North and the South nodes are now in Taurus and Scorpio, and we're having, hi, if you're just joining, we're having this full moon squaring the nodes, and that is the midway point between the eclipses. I'm like, wait, there's a way to tell that that's the midway point. That's the point. That's how you tell. We're in the midway point between the eclipses. This is why it feels a little bit eclipsy out there. And when we're in that midway point, it's squaring the eclipses, we're also being showed the collective dharma, where we're being asked to go towards, like lean into, and the karma, where we're being asked to let go of. We learned the lesson. We're done there. Let it transcend. Let it transform. Let it transmute. And for a lot of us, we're having to really look back at the last 2 years. This is also Mercury now direct, but still going over the same place that it was retrograde, and the same place where the nodes of the moon just were in Gemini, and really asking us to process and be with the lessons of the last 2 years, and the hardship and the struggle and the trauma and the survival and the fears and the shadows, like what in humanity got shaken out of our friendships, our community, our relationships, ourselves, and really reckoning with that and really letting go and releasing a lot of that, because at a full moon, we're being asked to let go and release. So where are you being asked to release old versions of yourself and welcome in version 5.0, 6.0, 7.0, wherever you're at, no judgment. And this is really with this full moon on the heart of the lion. So at 27 degrees, I said 28 degrees in here. The ephemeris that I was looking at said 28 degrees when I used. It's 27. I just looked it up. It's 27. We've had full moons at the 27th degree now for a while. And it's really interesting when you look at that 27th degree, okay? So this is on the heart of the lion. This is the heart of the matter. And wherever this is in your chart, 27 degrees of any of the fixed signs, so, or any of the fire signs. So, Leo in particular, you want to look to where 27 degrees of Leo is for you. But then Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, where is this in your chart? Like, where are those grand cross points getting lit up? Because it's like bing, 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 bing. And whenever we have a grand cross in the sky, it is the ultimate positive challenge. You know, it doesn't include any of the malefics that we would see like with Mars or Saturn, but it is it's very destined. It's very fated. It's very inviting you to really be honest with yourself and be honest with your heart of hearts and what you truly want and what you truly desire. And are you living in alignment on the daily with that deepest desire? And if you're not, then it's time to release the old parts of you that are scared to do that. And so what's coming up a lot for a lot of people is really this area, like this area on the body and places where you were asked to misalign, asked to like, just kind of like, don't say what you really want, or you can't have what you really want. So you just have to like try to go about it this way. And what that does is that puts us in alignment with misalignment, but also it puts us in alignment with manipulation and guilt and shame. And it's just a misalignment. And so when we come back into alignment, it's going to feel scary. At times, it might even feel like, you know, I was just sharing this in my Activate Shakti group yesterday, like the pitchforks. I'm like, if I'm more of me, if I'm bigger, if I'm really aligned with what I want to say to you, the pitchforks are going to come out. The people are going to come after me. The persecution pictures come up. And so it's like, that's the old energy. That's what's keeping me in misalignment. So what's keeping you in misalignment? Where can you be honest with yourself about what the biggest fear is? And understand that the more that it's in your conscious mind, the more you're going to be able to work with it and not come at life from that place. But for as long as you keep it in the dark, for as long as you're like, I don't really think that matters, I'm just going to keep misaligning. It's like, for as long as you're shoving that aside, you're just going to be acting out from a place of misalignment, and you're going to be acting out from a place of not really your true desires, not really going after what you want in life. So this is the work of now. This is the time to do it. And when we're in this place, that's why it's so powerful to join a group like Feminine Leadership, where we're diving into your chart and your specific archetypes of the feminine to understand who's being asked to come online, who's being asked to come through you in a way that feels very aligned to your soul's blueprint, to your soul's past. Your chart is your coding. Your chart is the junk that you came in with to work through, to make peace with, and to move beyond. And also your fated, your destiny, your dharma in this lifetime. Your chart is not, it's not something that limits you, but it is a contract that you made before you came on earth to work with. So if you're avoiding working with it, if you're avoiding certain aspects, you're like, oh, my Venus is in Virgo. I was going to say Venus in Scorpio. Like, oh, I'm not going to look at that. Like, oh, I know that's like the part of me that's this and that. It's like, no, like, let's take it deeper. Like, what does she have to say? Like, where is she not able to voice what she really wants, you know? So there's a whole different way of looking at this in terms of astrology just is the energy that is. This is why when the astrology is lit, you'll often see these solar flares happening. You'll often see people, like other things aligning with the astrology, because the astrology is just reading the energy. It's one way to do that. And so if it doesn't align with you, that's fine. But if it does align with you, it's just a way to read the energy. And that's why right now we're also being activated with, we had the 2222, and then we'll have on the 22nd, the 22222. I don't know, maybe that was too many twos. But regardless, we're in this window. We're in this midpoint of the eclipses. We're in this challenge point where it's like, are you going to go into your past? Are you going to dive into your future? And the only way to do that is from a heart-centered place. It's not from the egoic place. It's not from the intellectual place. It is from the embodied place and the heart-centered place. So look at where this is happening in your chart. Also look at any 27 degrees of any sign right now has been and will be continuing to be lit up. Pluto's exactly at 27 degrees, making an exact quincunx to this full moon, asking us how much power the darkness has over you. Like, how much are you going to live in the dark? How much are you going to live in fear? Versus how much are you going to live in trust? How much are you going to live in your heart? So this is the challenge of this time. And this is really the time to check in with your energetic boundaries. Bitches Shine Brighter. If you have that course, dive into it again, because this is the time to really keep those boundaries firm so that you have the space for more of your true self to shine. So you're not wasting your energy and time on things that don't matter anymore. So this full moon is on, I didn't even say when it's on, February 16th in the morning, 8:30ish in the morning, 8 to 8:30. And it is a really powerful one to have right after Valentine's Day on the heart of the lion, showing us, asking us to release old versions of self. So if you feel the invitation, if you feel the call to work with me deeper, here's a couple ways to do it. One is I'm hosting an amazing masterclass on Monday. We're going to be looking at your Venus and your Mars and the Venus and the Mars transiting your chart, because it's all really important right now to look at, and especially on Valentine's Day. And we're going to be doing an activation to invite in more of your pleasure by inviting in the presence of now and what's coming up for you, and being really honest about what's coming up for you. I saw a little fairy. And we're going to be diving into pleasure in a big way based on your Venus and Mars placement and a lot of the energetics of what's coming up right now. That's on Monday. Registration's open till tomorrow. So click the link in my profile if you're curious about it and you want to join us. You'll need to send your birth information because we will be pulling charts. Feminine leadership, 3-month deep dive with me, group coaching, just really diving into all the feminine aspects of your chart that are very imbalanced. This is the thing about this North Node in Taurus. Any way that you're misaligned with the feminine energy is going to be coming up. So on one aspect, you might be confronted with how you have kind of manipulated, gone about things in a roundabout way that aren't in a full alignment, or places where you've been gaslit, or when you've been called crazy, or where you've been silenced because you're in alignment with this feminine energy, this intuition, this awareness, or ways in which if you have been misaligned and you're kind of like really pushing from that place, that it's going to backfire and it's going to come back to you. So this is a very much a fated time of like the karma's coming up and the dharma's coming up, and we're really being asked to lean into our feminine at this time, the healthy feminine. So that is feminine leadership. Okay. And so feminine leadership starts March. It goes to June. The first call is I'm going to be in Santorini, Greece, which is amazing because a lot of those Greek archetypes are going to be coming through. And I'm guessing that there's some codes and some information that's going to be channeling through there for you. So check out that program. The link's in my profile. You can absolutely ask me any questions you have about that program. It's a powerful one. It will change your whole life, one. And it's a 3-month journey. So that's huge for this year. And then working with me one-on-one. If you decide you're ready for coaching with me, you decide you're ready for this mentorship with me, if you do the 6-month mentorship coaching with me, you automatically get feminine leadership, and you get Bitches Shine Brighter, and you get my intuitive development course. So that's really the way to go if you really want to change your whole world in 2022 and really just be in your light and be connected. I'm so excited to just be here with you all. Even if you don't work with me, just you showing up here, sharing the energy with me, and being in this feminine energy for 2022 is such a powerful resonance. So I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. And if you missed the beginning of this video, I will post it in my YouTube. So if you aren't following me there, you might want to do that. Some really funny side things about YouTube coming up. It's really funny. But I'm there, so find me there. Okay, I love you all. Have a great day. Bye.